You know what people make you eat in those, what they call them, senior diets? You know what they give old people in nursing homes? Soft food, boiled everything, low sodium this, low fat that, pudding cups and apple juice and something they call a heart-healthy plate that looks like it was made by someone who has never once enjoyed a meal in their life. They take everything with any flavor, any fat, any substance out of it, and they call that taking care of you. I call it giving up on you. I am Martha Rose. I am 102 years old. I cook my own food. I season it how I like. I eat what I want, and I have never once been handed a pudding cup by a stranger in scrubs. Now, the doctors who designed these senior diets, these sad, stripped-down, flavorless little meal plans they hand to people over 65 like you've already got one foot in the ground. Most of them are younger than my kitchen table. They have not lived long enough to know anything worth knowing about a long life, and the ones who did live long enough already passed, and they did not eat soft food. They will tell you that once you get a certain age, you need to be careful, eat less, restrict this, avoid that. What they don't tell you is that every restriction they hand you comes with a product they'd prefer you buy instead. I don't buy it, any of it. Literally, here are 5 things I eat every single week that every senior diet on earth would tell me to put down. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I pick them right back up. Number 1. Red meat. You heard me. They have been trying to scare people away from red meat for 40 years now. Red meat causes heart disease. Red meat causes cancer. Red meat is going to kill you. That's what they said. That's what they put on television. That's what they taught in medical schools funded by the same food companies that wanted to sell you something cheaper to eat. And while all of that was being said, I was eating beef every week of my life. Pot roast on Sundays, beef stew in the winter, a good piece of steak when the occasion called for it. My husband used to say you could judge a woman's character by how she seasoned a pot roast. I can still smell my mother's kitchen on a Sunday afternoon. That low, slow smell of beef and onions and whatever herbs she'd pulled from the garden that morning. That smell is home. That smell is safety. That smell is every good Sunday I ever lived, and there have been a lot of them. Here is what they don't tell you about red meat, especially for older people. Listen to me on this one. As you age, your body starts losing muscle. Doctors have a name for it, sarcopenia. And that's just the fancy word for your muscles quietly disappearing on you. It's why old people fall. It's why they get weak. It's why they end up in those nursing homes eating soft food, because their body stopped having the raw material to hold itself up. Red meat, real, unprocessed, honest beef, is one of the highest quality sources of protein and iron your body can get. And not just protein, complete protein, with all the building blocks your muscles need to stay strong. It also carries something called creatine, which feeds your muscle cells directly. Older bodies need more protein than young ones, not less. But what do they put on the senior diet plate? A tablespoon of canned tuna and a prayer. My legs work, my grip is strong. I open my own jars, and I have been eating red meat since before most of your parents were born. The good Lord did not put cattle on this earth for decoration. Eat the beef. Triture. Number 2, whole eggs with the yolk. I talked a little about eggs before, but I need to go deeper today because the egg yolk specifically has been so unfairly treated that I feel personally offended on its behalf. They told you the yolk was the dangerous part. the cholesterol, the fat. Throw it away. Eat the white. Be virtuous. There was a whole generation of people cracking eggs into a bowl and fishing the yolk out like it was contaminated, throwing away the best part, throwing away what the good Lord put in there to feed a whole baby chick from nothing into a living creature. Think about that for one moment. That yolk contains everything needed to build a life from scratch, and we were throwing it in the trash because a committee somewhere said so. Every doctor who told me to eat egg white omelets is gone. I'm eating the whole egg. I always did. My grandmother never separated an egg in her life unless she was making a cake, and even then she felt a little guilty about it. She kept chickens her whole life, and she treated those eggs like the gifts they were. When I was small, she'd let me collect them from the hens in the morning, still warm. I'd carry them in my apron, gentle as you please. There is something about a warm egg, fresh from a nest, that you cannot replicate. You just can't. The yolk is where the nutrition lives. The choline, that's the nutrient that feeds your brain, keeps your memory working, keeps the wiring from fraying. It's in the yolk. The vitamin D that your bones need is in the yolk. The healthy fats that your brain and your eyes depend on are in the yolk. An old woman who wants to keep her mind sharp, her bones solid, and her eyes seeing clearly does not throw the yolk away. Eat the whole egg. It was made whole for a reason. Number 3, pork fat and lard. Now, here is where some of you are going to fidget. Go ahead and fidget. I'll wait. Lard, pork fat. The drippings from a pan after you cook bacon. The thing your grandmother kept in a can on the back of the stove, the thing that modern cooking decided was a relic of an uneducated past. They replaced it with vegetable shortening, then margarine, then a parade of oils made in laboratories from plants that were never meant to be oil. And every one of those replacements they sold us as healthier, as smarter, as progress. And the population got sicker. Inflammation everywhere, joints giving out, hearts struggling, brains clouding over earlier and earlier. I have used lard in my kitchen my entire life. My biscuits are made with lard. They always have been. My cornbread is made with pork drippings in a cast iron skillet that is older than most of the states I've driven through. That skillet was my mother's. Before that, her mother's. I can hear that cornbread sizzling when it hits that hot fat. That sound is church to me. Here is the plain truth about animal fats. They are stable. When you heat them, they do not break down into the kind of damaged, twisted molecules that cause the inflammation these new seed oils create. Oh, what is it? The scientists call the problem with heated seed oils oxidative stress, and that's just a fancy way of saying the fat went bad inside your body and started a fire you can't see. That invisible fire is what breaks down your joints, what fogs your brain, what makes old age feel like falling apart. Lard does not do that. Butter does not do that. Tallow does not do that. The old ways weren't primitive. They were correct. And the fact that every traditional culture on Earth cooked in animal fats for 10,000 years before the food industry showed up with something cheaper to sell should tell you everything you need to know. Use the lard, make the biscuits. Honor your grandmother while you're at it. Number 4, full-fat dairy, raw if you can get it. They have skimmed, reduced, lowered, and lightened milk into something that barely resembles what came out of the animal. 2%, 1%, skim, fat-free. Each one prouder than the last about what they took away, as if removing things is an achievement. Real milk, whole milk, cream, full fat cheese, full fat butter, which we've already discussed. These are the things I eat. These are the things I was raised on. My family kept a milk cow named Dora for most of my childhood, and let me tell you, there was nothing 2% about Dora. I can still see the cream sitting thick on top of the milk jar in the morning. My mother would spoon it off the top for coffee, and the rest of us would shake the jar and pour it still cold from the cellar. Full fat, full flavor, full nutrition. Here is what they stripped out when they stripped out the fat. Fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K. Those are the vitamins that live in the fat, travel with the fat, and get absorbed by your body through the fat. When you drink skim milk, you are drinking something that has had its delivery system removed. You might as well be drinking chalky water for all the good those remaining nutrients will do you without the fat to carry them where they need to go. For older bones, for older eyes, for older skin that is already fighting the years. You need those fat-soluble vitamins in a form your body can actually use. Full-fat dairy gives you that, and the taste. Lord, there is no substitute for the taste of real cream in real coffee on a cool morning. The good Lord made it that rich and that satisfying because He wanted you to enjoy it. Don't let them water down your food and call it wisdom. Number 5. This one makes people nervous. This one is where the doctors really start clearing their throats. Low-sodium diets for seniors. Watch your salt, your heart, your blood pressure. Be careful. And I am going to tell you something that a century of salting my own food has taught me, and then you can decide who to believe. Me, standing here at 102. Or the guidelines written by a committee that will be revised again in 5 years because they were wrong again. My food has always been seasoned, properly seasoned. Real salt, not the white bleached iodized salt in the round container, but real salt with its minerals still in it, gray or pink or whatever color God left on it before the factory got involved. That salt has been on my table my whole life. Here is what nobody tells seniors about cutting sodium too aggressively. Your body needs sodium desperately. Your nerves run on it. Your muscles, including your heart, contract because of it. Your adrenal glands, the little organs that manage your stress and your energy, they require adequate sodium to function. When older people cut their salt too low, they get weak, dizzy, confused. They fall, and then they end up in the very nursing home the doctor was supposedly trying to keep them out of. There is something called hyponatremia, low sodium in the blood. It's a genuine medical emergency, and it is shockingly common in elderly people who followed the low-sodium advice too strictly or who weren't eating enough real food to get natural minerals in the first place. My grandmother salted everything and never once had a dizzy spell that I can remember. She was steady on her feet until the very end. She seasoned her food with the confidence of a woman who trusted her own body's signals more than she trusted anyone else's opinions. So yeah, that is the thing. Salt, real salt, on everything. Season your food. Eat like the meal matters, because it does. Now here's the most important thing that nobody will teach you. The reason I eat what I want is not stubbornness. It's not defiance, though I'll admit defiance is a little bit fun at my age. The reason is that I made a decision a long time ago to trust the life God gave me, to treat this body like it belongs to someone worth feeding well, to sit down at a table and eat with gratitude and pleasure and not 1 ounce of guilt. Food eaten in anxiety doesn't nourish you the same way food eaten in peace does. I truly believe that. When you sit down to a meal and spend the whole time worrying about what it's doing to you, you have turned something sacred into something stressful. And stress, we have talked about this, stress will take you apart faster than any piece of red meat ever could. The table was meant to be a place of fellowship, of gratitude, of pleasure. Every culture that has ever lived a long time has understood that. The meal is not just fuel, it is connection to the people around you, to the land it came from, to the hands that grew it and cooked it and served it with love. My best memories in this life happened at a table, every one of them, holidays and Sunday dinners and late nights and early mornings, hands passing dishes, stories being told, children laughing, grace being said. That is what feeds a long life, not a pamphlet, not a restriction, not a soft food diet that treats you like you're already half gone. You are not half gone. You are here. Eat accordingly. Now I've got a pot of something on the stove that's been asking for my attention, and I seasoned it the way I like, and I am not going to apologize to a single soul about it. See you.